Each morning when we open our eyes, we are given something very rare, yet often unnoticed: a new beginning, a new chance, a silent invitation to direct the course of our life with more clarity, more wisdom, and more strength. But the way we begin our day, that first conversation we have with ourselves, it is not a small thing. It becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Before the world speaks to us, before the noise arrives, you must speak to yourself. Because if you do not plant your own thoughts, someone else will plant theirs in your mind. The Shaolin path teaches that discipline starts in the mind, not in the body. And every morning is an opportunity to train the mind not through force, but through awareness, through conscious intention. When you wake up, your thoughts are like a blank canvas. The energy is fresh, and what you tell yourself in these early moments, it echoes throughout your actions, your emotions, and your results. Today, I want to share with you 4 powerful things to tell yourself every morning, 4 internal truths that can anchor your mind, center your spirit, and guide your steps. They are not just words. They are tools of alignment. They are reminders of who you are and what you are capable of becoming. Because in the end, it's not the world outside that limits us. It's the world inside our beliefs, our inner language, our internal dialogue. And when we change that inner dialogue, we change everything. Let us begin. When we begin the day, our minds are in a state of quiet openness. The distractions have not yet arrived. It is in this fragile moment that we can choose what kind of energy we wish to carry into the day. One of the most powerful realizations a person can have in life is this: I am in control of my thoughts, my actions, and my energy. This awareness, when fully embraced, becomes a source of inner power that no external situation can easily disturb. The mind, if left unchecked, will drift wherever it wants, perhaps to fear, anxiety, past regrets, or future uncertainties. But when we take the time each morning to center ourselves and speak consciously, we are claiming ownership of our inner space. Control does not mean suppression. It does not mean pretending that negative emotions or intrusive thoughts do not exist. It means acknowledging them, understanding their nature, and choosing not to let them drive the vehicle of our lives. In the Shaolin tradition, discipline is not about punishment. It is about presence. It is about choosing again and again to return to awareness, to remind ourselves that we are not the voice in our head. We are the awareness that hears it. And from that awareness, we have the power to guide our inner world. Telling yourself, I am in control of my thoughts, is not about achieving perfection. It is about choosing direction. A wandering mind can become lost, but a trained mind becomes a tool. Just like a sword in the hands of a master is different from a sword in the hands of a child, your mind, when properly trained, becomes a source of clarity instead of confusion. Each time a thought arises, whether empowering or disempowering, you have the ability to pause, examine it, and decide whether it serves you. That pause is the space of mastery. That moment of choice is where transformation begins. Now, to claim control over your actions is to recognize the immense power of intention. So many people drift through their days reacting instead of responding, driven by habit, emotion, or external circumstances. But when you start the day by reminding yourself, I choose my actions, you create a powerful separation between impulse and behavior. You begin to respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. Every action becomes a conscious movement aligned with your deeper values. Whether it's how you speak to others, how you treat your body, how you approach your work, or how you manage your time, each action becomes a reflection of your inner discipline. And then there is energy, perhaps the most subtle yet most powerful aspect of all. Your energy is not just about physical strength. It is about the quality of your presence. Have you noticed how some people drain the energy of a room while others uplift it? This is not a coincidence. It is a result of how they manage their internal state. When you tell yourself each morning, I am in control of my energy, you are making a sacred commitment to protect your mental space, to preserve your emotional clarity, and to radiate a steady, grounded presence into the world. You begin to understand that your energy is your message, even before you speak a word. To master your energy means to be aware of what you absorb and what you emit. Are you constantly consuming negativity, comparison, distraction, or are you choosing sources that nourish you, inspire you, and bring you back to your center? Energy management is not about always being cheerful or positive. It is about being real, rooted, and resilient. It is about knowing when to step back, when to breathe, and when to realign. The more aware you become of your energy, the more naturally you will begin to guard it. And from that place of inner awareness, you can step into any situation, calm, clear, and empowered. This morning ritual of affirming your control over thoughts, actions, and energy is not just motivational. It is transformational. It turns your mornings into sacred ground, a space where you reclaim your power before the day begins to shape you. By doing this, you stop being a passive participant in life. You become an active creator. A disciplined mind, a conscious action, a centered energy. These are not only habits of high performers, they are the practices of inner warriors, and the world needs more people who are not only awake but aware. Everything I need is already within me. This is not just a comforting phrase. It is a deep spiritual truth that has echoed through centuries of wisdom. In a world that constantly tells us we are not enough, that we must acquire more, achieve more, or become someone else in order to be fulfilled, this reminder acts as a powerful antidote. From the moment we are born, we are taught to look outward. We are taught that happiness comes from success, that confidence comes from approval, and that peace comes from control. But the path of inner mastery reveals a different way. It shows us that the strength, clarity, and courage we seek have always lived within us. They are not to be found outside, they are to be uncovered. When we begin to live from this understanding, we no longer chase life, we meet it with grounded presence. The seed of a tree contains the blueprint of the entire forest. Likewise, within every human being lies the potential for greatness, wisdom, and balance. We do not need to become someone else. We need only to return to what we already are beneath the noise of conditioning. This is the purpose of inner work, not to add more, but to peel away what is false, to see through the illusion that something outside of us will complete us, to understand that what we are looking for is not missing, it is simply buried under layers of distraction, fear, and comparison. In the Shaolin tradition, the path to mastery is not about adding power, but about refining awareness. The body, the mind, and the breath are trained not to become something new, but to return to their natural harmony. When a warrior trains, he does not search for strength outside himself. He awakens the strength that already exists. He removes the obstacles that cloud his clarity. He cultivates discipline, but more importantly, he cultivates trust in his own being. This trust is what allows him to act with certainty, to move with precision, and to remain still in the face of chaos. So many people live in a state of constant striving. They believe that when they finally reach a certain goal, gain a specific recognition, or fix some part of themselves, then they will be worthy. But true transformation begins the moment we stop waiting to feel complete and start recognizing that we already are. It's not that growth stops. It's that growth no longer comes from a place of lack. It comes from a place of alignment. You stop growing to prove something, and you start growing to express something. Your path becomes an expression of your inner nature, not an escape from your inner doubts. Every morning, when you say to yourself, "Everything I need is already within me," you reconnect with this deep truth. You remind yourself that the answers to your challenges do not lie in panic or in rushing, but in stillness. You remember that the qualities you admire in others, discipline, compassion, courage, creativity, are not foreign to you. They are already inside you, waiting to be practiced, waiting to be lived. You stop being a seeker and you start being a practitioner. You realize that your work is not to chase, but to align, not to run forward, but to return inward. When you truly begin to live from this place, you become unshakable. It does not mean that life becomes easy. It means that you are no longer easily moved by outer circumstances. You develop an inner steadiness, a grounded confidence that does not rely on outcomes, whether others approve or not, whether the path is clear or uncertain, whether you are praised or misunderstood. You know who you are. You know what you carry. You know that your center cannot be taken from you because it was never outside you to begin with. This understanding changes how you speak, how you walk, how you meet your daily life. You stop begging the world to give you permission. You stop outsourcing your self-worth. You begin to trust your intuition, to follow your vision, and to stand firm in your values. Even in silence, your presence becomes powerful. Because people can feel when someone is rooted. They can sense when someone is living from within rather than performing for the outside. To wake up each day and affirm this truth is to reclaim your inner authority. It is to remind yourself that you do not need to be fixed. You need to be revealed, that you do not need more validation. You need more stillness, and that everything you seek, peace, strength, purpose, has already been given to you. Your task is not to hunt for it. Your task is to remember it, to honor it, and to live from it fully, courageously, and consistently. I grow through what I go through. This simple sentence holds within it the entire philosophy of resilience, transformation, and spiritual maturity. Life does not always unfold according to our plans, and the path of growth is rarely smooth or predictable. But hidden within every challenge is an invitation, an opportunity to evolve, to shed layers, and to come closer to our true nature. The one who seeks only comfort will never discover their strength, but the one who is willing to meet adversity with presence and humility begins to understand that every obstacle is also a teacher. Pain is not the enemy. Discomfort is not a sign of failure. In fact, these are often the signs that real growth is taking place. The muscles of the body do not become stronger without resistance. In the same way, the muscles of the mind and the spirit are only developed through conscious engagement with difficulty. The storms that enter our lives are not there to break us, they are there to reveal to us what we are capable of withstanding. And when we pass through them with awareness, we do not come out the same. We come out wiser, we come out lighter, we come out clearer about who we are and what truly matters. In the Shaolin tradition, hardship is not something to be avoided, but something to be respected. The cold, the heat, the repetition, the silence, all of these are elements of training. Not because they are comfortable, but because they shape the spirit. Every discomfort becomes a mirror, reflecting back to us where we still hold resistance, where we still cling, where we still doubt. And by facing these things directly, without running, we become more grounded. We begin to carry ourselves differently, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence, the kind of confidence that comes only from having been tested and not turned away. Growth through difficulty is not automatic. It depends on how we meet the moment. Some people experience hardship and become bitter. Others experience the same hardship and become better. What makes the difference is not the size of the challenge, but the depth of the perspective. When we learn to look at our difficulties as sacred ground, as places of refinement, we stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? This question opens the heart. It opens the mind, and it transforms the moment of suffering into a moment of insight. Often, we look back on certain periods of our life, the heartbreaks, the failures, the losses, and we realize that these were the very times that shaped us the most. Not because they were easy, but because they stripped away illusions. They forced us to grow in ways we never would have chosen voluntarily. And this is the paradox of life. Sometimes the moments that feel like the end are actually the beginning. Sometimes what feels like being buried is actually being planted. And in time, we realize that growth was not only happening despite the pain, it was happening through it. To say, I grow through what I go through, is to take full ownership of your path. It is to stop waiting for ideal conditions. It is to stop blaming others or circumstances for your stagnation. It is to declare that no matter what comes your way, whether it's a delay, a rejection, a loss, or a betrayal, you will not waste it. You will use it, you will extract meaning from it, you will let it teach you patience, strength, clarity, and compassion. You will let it deepen your character, and in doing so, you transform suffering into wisdom. This mindset does not mean you suppress your emotions. It means you become deeply honest about them. You feel what you need to feel, but you do not let it define you. You understand that emotions are like weather, they pass. But who you become during the storm, how you hold yourself, how you breathe, how you think, that is what determines whether the experience becomes growth or just pain. With every challenge you ask, what can I learn? Where is the gift? What quality is life trying to develop in me right now? When you repeat this truth to yourself every morning, you prepare your mind for what lies ahead. You anchor yourself in a reality where nothing is wasted. You meet your struggles not with resistance but with curiosity. You start to understand that even the moments that feel heavy, the days that feel chaotic, the experiences that break your rhythm, all of them are refining you. They are giving you something deeper than comfort. They are giving you strength that no one can take away, and wisdom that cannot be taught in words. Today is a gift. I will treat it with purpose and presence. This mindset is the foundation of a conscious life. Every morning when we open our eyes, we are given something that millions will not receive: another chance, another sunrise, another breath. Yet too often we treat the day as if it were just another item on the calendar, something to survive or get through. We forget how sacred each day truly is. The mind, if left unchecked, will rush toward the future or dwell in the past, dragging us away from the only place life ever happens, the present moment. But when we choose to begin the day with gratitude and intention, we align ourselves with a deeper rhythm. We begin to see time not as something to kill, but as something to honor. To treat the day as a gift is to wake up with awareness. It is to pause before the distractions come flooding in. It is to acknowledge that life is fragile, and because it is fragile, it is precious. Purpose and presence are not abstract ideas. They are daily practices. They are the decision to live fully, not later, but now, to stop waiting for the perfect moment and to make this moment enough, to approach the ordinary tasks of life with extraordinary care. Even the smallest act, drinking water, speaking to someone, walking, breathing, can become sacred when done with full attention. The Shaolin path teaches that the external world is a reflection of the internal state. If we rush through the day without awareness, we do not live, we merely exist. But when we are rooted in presence, every movement becomes meaningful, every breath becomes a meditation. Time slows down not because the clock changes, but because our perception deepens. We stop running, we start being, and in that being we discover clarity, stillness, and peace. Purpose is not just about grand visions or distant goals. It is about how we move through the hours we are given. It is the energy we bring to our responsibilities, the intention behind our words, the love behind our actions. To live with purpose means we do not waste this day in aimlessness. We ask ourselves, what matters most today? What kind of person do I want to be today? What qualities do I want to embody? This reflection brings direction. It sharpens our focus and connects us to our deeper values. Without purpose, we drift. With purpose, we rise. Presence is what allows us to actually experience our purpose. Without presence, we are always somewhere else, thinking about what's next, regretting what was, numbing ourselves to what is. We eat without tasting, we speak without listening, we live without living. But when we are present, we awaken. We begin to see the richness in the details, the sound of the wind, the feeling of the ground beneath our feet, the tone in someone's voice, the emotions in our own heart. Presence brings depth to our day. It opens us to wisdom that cannot be accessed through noise or distraction. It is in presence that the lessons of life unfold. Each morning, when you affirm that today is a gift, you remind yourself to stop sleepwalking through your life. You remind yourself that this day, with all its imperfections, surprises, and opportunities, will never come again. This is the only June 28th, 2025 you will ever live, and once it passes, it will become memory. So you choose to make it count. You choose to meet it with awareness. You choose to show up for it not half-heartedly, but completely. To live this way requires practice. It requires patience. The world will try to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. The mind will want to retreat into familiar patterns, but again and again you return. You breathe, you focus, you bring your full attention back to what is in front of you, because this moment is your life, not the past, not the future, this moment. When we treat the day as a gift, we also become more compassionate toward others and toward ourselves. We stop taking people for granted. We stop waiting for the weekend to feel alive. We stop postponing joy. We realize that our power lies in the now, that the decisions we make today, the energy we give today, the love we offer today, all of it matters. It shapes not just our own life, but the lives of those around us. Every sunrise brings with it new air, new chances, and new responsibilities. And when we meet the day with both purpose and presence, we begin to live not out of habit, but out of awareness. We begin to realize that fulfillment is not found in distant destinations, it is found right here, in how we walk, how we speak, how we choose. Each day is a blank page, and when you understand that it is a gift, you stop waiting for a special moment to begin your life. You begin it now, you begin it fully, you begin it with the realization that this day, this breath, this step is enough. So now, as we come to the end of this reflection, remember this: your mornings are not just the beginning of a day, they are the beginning of your mindset, your energy, your direction. What you say to yourself when the world is still quiet will echo into everything that follows. These 4 powerful truths are not motivational phrases meant to be forgotten. They are tools, disciplines, and anchors for a grounded life. When you tell yourself, asterisk, I am in control of my thoughts, my actions, and my energy, asterisk, you reclaim your inner authority. You stop reacting and start choosing. When you say, asterisk, everything I need is already within me, asterisk, you stop searching and start remembering. When you affirm, asterisk, I grow through what I go through, asterisk, you stop fearing difficulty and start transforming through it. And when you begin the day with, asterisk, today is a gift, I will treat it with purpose and presence, asterisk, you stop waiting to live and you start living fully right here, right now. This is the essence of inner mastery. Not perfection, not performance, but awareness, presence, discipline, a daily return to what is true. You don't need more time, more motivation, or more certainty. You simply need to begin each morning with intention, with clarity, with respect for the opportunity of life. Let your mornings be your sacred ground. Let your words be your silent training, and let your life speak, not just through what you achieve, but through the depth with which you live.